Hello, everybody. Today, I present to you my wonderful friend and confidant, Kate Barker, global executive currently living in Dubai. Kate is a renowned chief HR futurist, a global consulting expert on future of work, board advisor, international keynote speaker on leadership development, talent management, and an executive coach to CEOs and management teams worldwide. Kate, lovely to have you over here. You look lovely in your red, and I hope Dubai, there's a lot of light and sunshine. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well. Great to see you again. Of course, we love our bright colors.
Absolutely, indeed. So, Kate, in this video, I would love to hear about your experiences as a leader and how you continue to break the bias and personally what this means to you.
Absolutely. Fantastic. What it means to me around breaking that bias, particularly when we focus this on International Women's Day, is really around what can we do in two areas, both as a leader in our role of a leader, and that can be a leader for our team, at work, or even our family. And for us as individuals, as individual women, what do we need to think about doing? So every aspect of everything we take from our day in, day out, we can look at it both from being a leader of others and obviously from our own perspective as well.
Kate, I just remembered that, wow, it's been almost 10 years when we met at the Asian Women's Leadership Summit in Singapore. So do you want to share a little bit about how we met and how we continued to build our professional relationship into becoming great friends?
Yeah, thank you. I was speaking at the Women in Leadership Summit in Singapore, and I was asked about my experience and where I got to where I am. And at that point, I'd actually developed a very successful executive coaching and leadership development business. And I was sharing my background story at that stage of working with Richard Branson and the team. And we met, you're on the panel as well, and we met at that. And it's interesting enough because we go to a lot of these conferences as women. And it's an opportunity then to reach out and keep connected to those women that we met. But of course, we bonded not only over our subject topic, but our love for fashion. So that was a wonderful opportunity to exchange where we'd gone shopping and our love for what we wear corporately, which I think is also a great way for women of how they present themselves in the workplace.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's just a reminder that we should just sometimes let go of our guards. We meet people where there is that connection. And how do we continue to build that connection irrespective? I mean, last 3 years, Kate, last time we met was in Singapore 3 years back, but we continued building on our relationship, digitally via Zoom and ensuring we were in touch and we were there for each other when we needed. So it's been amazing, how our friendship has transformed in the many years. Moving on from that sort of topic, I still want to talk about, the areas that interest both of us is really bringing that diversity at the organization level. And topic that always sort of has been in my radar is around how do organizations make the conscious effort and put in place practices that drives more sort of equal, salary levels and parity in terms of pay.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think when I talk about boards in this perspective, I'll give you a story that I'll share with you about my own experience here. It was several years ago, and I was living and working in New York for a global consulting firm, leading a very successful, well-established consulting team. And what was remarkable about this team is that 90% of them were women and 90% of them were high performers. Incredible team to lead, and I was honored to be their leader in that space. But we came around and it was the remuneration, the annual remuneration cycle. And I was presented the recommendations for the REM review, increases for each member of my team, promotion and new salary ranges. When I got the details, I realized when I had a quick scan at the data is that the women being promoted to the next rank weren't actually being remunerated to the next salary band at the level they should be in. So even though they'd get a promotion, they'd still sit below the salary band they're moving into. Now that is against the remuneration policy. I had a choice, and I want to say to all women in our career, if you're leading teams, particularly women, when it comes to their salary, you have a choice in your career to say, do I want to take this challenge up and do something about it? Or am I going to let it skip over and let someone else manage it? I was bold and I was courageous, and I was really proud of myself in that moment to say, actually, I'm going to do something about this and it needs to be corrected. I actually put a halt on the communication around remuneration reviews that year. I actually did a deep dive into the 100 odd employees under my team, and actually I had a look at the salaries to identify what the key issues were. Two key issues came up. The women were not actually paid when they entered the organisation at the salary range for their job. So every incremental increase they had year on year was always underpaid. This had gone on for a minimum of at least 5 or 6 years for some of these candidates. The second issue that came up was that when they were being promoted, they weren't being even promoted into the next level. They were given the title for the job, but obviously that small incremental increase. So over years, this exacerbated and became an issue where we had a sliding scale of women continued to be underpaid. Because the majority of my team were women, we were now having an issue that the budget associated for my team for increases wasn't going to get improved. I took this, and where important to note, this team was highly performing with a 30% year-on-year revenue increase in the team. I took this to a budget, provided the budget and moved the salaries up, and asked them if they didn't do it, what would be the consequences. After 2.5 weeks of wrangling, we got it approved and we got the increases pushed through. And what I'm going to say is that while that may have raised a few eyebrows with those peers, and certainly with my leader, it's those opportunities to say, well, what are you going to stand for? And if you had those career milestones, what are you going to go on a limb for to actually make sure the women in your care, women in your leadership are actually remunerated accordingly to what they should be doing as their skills?
Wow. What an incredible story, Kate. It's also a reminder of having the courage to stand for what we believe in and continuing to break those barriers that come in our way. Something that really, really fascinates about you, apart from a million other things, is, that you're so inspirational, so insightful. And you just do it everything with so much grace and style. So how do you do it all?
Yeah, thank you first up. That's quite flattering. Thank you very much. I'd certainly say is I have a good sense around where my true north is. I have a deep understanding around what I'm here to do and achieve, and I keep very focused on what that looks like for me. I was often saying, just speaking to even a girlfriend last night, saying is I want to demonstrate the behavior that I want to see in the world. And sometimes when you come into this world, many people don't know what that right behavior looks like. But if we can always lead from that true north about that behavior that we want to see and be part of the world, that's a really great place to be. I keep myself very even around doing that. And a great way for me to manage that is certainly through a lot of exercise. Nothing beats a great workout and clean eating, and keeping your friends and family close. Once you really have that ingrained in why you're here, whatever you're going through or experiencing day in, day out, you can pretty well manage because you know where your path is heading.
Oh, love it, Kate. Every time I talk to you, I have to say, you always have these gems of real experiences that, are so helpful in our daily lives. And I think it's your principles and your behavior that you talked about, the positivity really gives you that aura of uber optimism and somebody a lot of people around the world look up to. In the context of workplace, Kate, what do you think from your perspective the future of work look like?
Yeah, and this is exactly something what I'm incredibly excited about at the moment. The future of work is certainly a more diverse and inclusive workforce. And while I'm so excited about this is that now in new ways of working, and of course, we've had a few years now on doing Zoom or video conference calls, working from home. What it does mean is that we've now got the opportunity to actually have a more inclusive workforce We're reaching out into areas, countries, region, people that haven't been able to be part of this workforce in the past. And I think this is phenomenal. Why it's so phenomenal? We're going to see talent and experience that's never entered the marketplace before now have access, and organizations are going to be accessing this talent like there's never seen. We're going to see women that never thought their place was in the workforce being able to open up opportunities, innovation and creativity like we've never seen before. And we're going to see this explode in organizations. I think this is phenomenal. And we know the data tells us that those organizations that hire more women, and we're talking over 30% of women, are actually able to generate 15% more revenue to their bottom line. Proven results. So I think this is really exciting for where we see the future of work going and how we can create new workforces.
Love it, Kate. Thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. And it just sort of makes me smile thinking about we have so much to do, as well as there's so much wonderful things ahead, in terms of the changes that we can see organization-wide. My last question for you would be, what is your sort of personal tip for the viewers, having lived in multiple continents and countries and seeing sort of the transformations that are happening and transformation not so happening? What would be your tip for the viewers in terms of how they can make the sort of workplaces they work at more open and inclusive?
First thing I'd say is for all the women out there, push that door open and always say yes. If you don't back yourself, no one is going to back you. So the ability to say yes to those assignments or opportunities and go for it, even if you don't feel that you're going to be completely capable, or you may not be able to pull it off. I have this saying, which I really love, is you only get better at yoga unless you spend time on the mat. And that means getting out there and doing it. So give yourself an opportunity, give a go and try it. And for all those women in opportunities where they can throw the ladder back down, this is a phenomenal opportunity to be able to now use your level of experience, expertise and seniority to throw the ladder down to the junior talent and give them perhaps the lift up that maybe you had or didn't have in your own career, and help them watch them, see them grow and develop. I know that I coach, mentor now on a pro bono basis 6 women globally around the world, young talent in their late 20s, early 30s. And I've got to say is that while they were really privileged to have me, I've gained so much gratitude and opportunity of seeing them grow and develop through this process as well. So if there's just one opportunity where you could reach out to 1 or 2 women and coach and develop them in the little time that you have left in your day, I think that will go a long way.
Wow, Kate, amazing. Really good. I mean, pay it forward and continue to break the bias. We have always so much to learn from you, Kate. It's been a pleasure to have you on this video series. Thank you so much once again.
You're welcome. Wonderful to be here. Thank you.